this. So, question is, how do you? My friend's wife attempted suicide, so she's still okay. The friend blames himself. They have 2 daughters, teenage daughters. How do you support them? So, one thing about an attempted suicide is that it's a cry for help. A suicide is a checking out. An attempted suicide is a cry for help. Let me preface it by saying I have no professional qualifications to speak to this. I'm only sharing the thoughts that are coming in my head in this moment. You should consult a professional. You should call a hotline. But that being said, how do you support your friend who feels so guilty about this thing that's happening? And I would say that, first of all, I would say to let him know that what he's feeling is absolutely normal. I mean, it's such a basic concept of feeling responsible for your lover's happiness, even though we're not, but it's such a common story that we are responsible for our lover's happiness. And so if our partners or people in our lives are unhappy, it's very hard to go, well, I'm there for you and you can work through this. So if somebody actually takes to the point of suicide, it's like, God, what did I not do? I mean, anyone that has survived or has someone in their life that has committed suicide, there's always that haunting feeling of like, was I not enough? So the big thing I would say in helping the friend is a reminder of we are all islands. We are all our individual people, and that if someone is in a state of mental illness or mental struggling, that I think you would have to be to attempt suicide while you have 2 teenage daughters. I mean, clearly she's not right, or feels like she's trapped, and so he needs to let go of the responsibility and let go, maybe take that as a wake-up call as to work back from there. I know that I use suicide as a tool. Whenever I feel trapped, I start with suicide and then work back. Okay? Now that I'm not going to commit suicide, there's a lot of drastic things I could do. Does she need to go to the Peace Corps for a few years? Does she need to drastically do something different? Does she need to do something crazy? Does she need to leave the family for, this is a hard question. How do you support him? I guess just listening to him, letting him know that whatever he's feeling is absolutely right. And if he starts to get too down on himself, reminding himself that of all the things that he does beautifully, and that struggling is normal, and that she is still alive, and that means you've got a fresh start for everything. And that maybe, you're too close to it now, but this could be, you may look back on this experience as the beginning of something beautiful, as the shift in her and your family and your relationships and your communication that made all the difference and made beautiful things happen. I know that sometimes when I've done things in the past that are drastic, like punching a hole through a wall and breaking a door and things like that, when I got to that point, it was because I didn't feel heard, and I felt like my needs, when I communicated them with my words, that I wasn't being heard and I wasn't being respected, and then so I got more and more frustrated, and I was like, can we stop? And I felt like the only way I could make the situation stop was to scare the other person and freak them out. I mean, I didn't do it consciously, but that's kind of what I kind of lost my shit and said, I don't know how to stop this, so I'm gonna fucking stop this. And, that is a possibility to look at. Like, if this was a drastic communication, is there a way, no matter what, actually, they need to decide, okay, what is the future ways that we're going to communicate? Does it mean we have a therapist come in? Does it mean that we write notes to each other? Does it mean we do video diaries so that we can't interrupt each other? So that we can feel heard without having to do drastic things. I know that I've learned that I know when I'm losing my stuff, and have to communicate to usually it's my partner that's there, because they're also heated, and say, I need to stop now. I know that you want to resolve this, but I need a break. I need to walk away from this. And the times that I've gotten and broken things is when I've been unable to walk away. I've been unable to stop, and I can't. So when I was in a house once and living with people, we had a thing called Thunderdome. And if you called Thunderdome, you started arguing and someone said Thunderdome, that means you had to walk away, come back in 10 minutes, and then take turns, 2 minutes each, talking and listening, talking and listening, talking and listening. I'm rattling these things off, again, not as a therapist or a professional. It's just as someone who was asked a question. Ooh, good point, Bridie. If he stopped it or found her, support him on that. And I really think that once you play the suicide card, you got to go professional help. You got to get people involved and recognize that not all professionals are rated equal, and not all professionals are going to resonate with you, but they need to get into and talk to a therapist that's going to look at what the issues are with the whole family, probably. And if that person doesn't feel right, they got to find somebody else, and they got to keep doing that, keep working to release this tension that caused this to come out.